Formation News and Gatherance. Boris Johnson has jumped in at the deep end. Being a Prime Minister, jumping right in at the thick of things. Do you think he's done a good job? Look at all the other presidents across the world, across the pond, in this absolute tragic time. People dropping like flies. Silent World War Three. Is Boris Johnson doing a good job? Could it, I mean, what would you come up with to make slow down the R number of coronavirus? People catching coronavirus. There's less deaths, so he's doing something right. The R level's going down slightly, so he must be doing something correct. Everything's trial and error. Trial and error. Trying to get this vaccine out, but they're saying it's not 100% applicable. A lot of critics in the media going, "Oh, the government don't know what they're doing, this, that, and the other." But who does know what they're doing? They've got all the best scientists in the world, all the best NHS on the front line, supposedly, and they can't still get the antidote to cure COVID-19. Anyway, ladies and gents, we've got a magical show, great setup, great formation of today's politics. Thank you all for coming through. Like I said, it's proclamation news and gatherance. It's the peasant, it's the prodigious, it's the prominent professor. I mean, I'd like to think I could run a good show in Parliament. I think we all do. But we're not these experts, are we, that's been in the business for a long time. We're just people that are just switching on to the news every now and then. These people are doing it 24/7. I mean, I am now, thankfully. I put up a petition yesterday about firework displays in fields. They shouldn't be selling fireworks just to general public. Only firework displays. Killing wildlife. The amount of horses have died through the shock of fireworks. The amount of children that are getting fireworks and firing fireworks in public car parks such as Tesco's, Asda, where you got parents with their children getting into their cars with their shopping. About this time last year, I believe, outside Tesco, or was it Asda in Hatfield, the main one in town centre, was a young child firing a rocket at a family, getting his wife and his kids in the car. I chased the little boy down the road. Could have been a bit of a scene. The man chased him in the end as well. I was really upset that he fired firework at his family, which you would be, wouldn't you? Trying to get your kids and your wife in the car. Some young juveniles then decide to throw a fireworks rocket as well. I mean, you're not allowed a gun license, but you're allowed to fire rockets at people. You can do more damage with a rocket. Kill a family of 10 with a rocket. Think about it. Imagine that firework went off in the car, set light to the car, family of 10 in there. Camper van, for instance. Even a caravan got gas cylinders around them. Why are general public allowed to buy fireworks? Talking about terrorists. All the terrorists come out firework day. You get all these stupid evangelists saying Islam or Muslim or Christian, Catholic, they're terrorists because of whatever happened. What about firework night? Everyone's a terrorist. Everyone that fires fireworks on firework night without a license, which they should have, a firework display license, is a terrorist. Simple as. That's why I set up these petitions. I've got a good eye for detail. I know what upsets the community. I know what needs to be protected, but it's not. I could go in a nightclub if I didn't get searched. Let off a firework in a nightclub. Put everyone's life in jeopardy. You get these people that come out of the Metropolitan Lunatic Asylum, not mentally stable. They're going like a fag in a petrol station. Seen it happen loads of times. Petrol station caught up in flames. Families' lives in jeopardy. Idiot. Had a fag at a petrol station. Doesn't take a lot to be mentally impaired, does it? Bottle of vodka, go to the shop, buy some cigarettes. You're not thinking straight. Light a cigarette as soon as you come out the door. I won't be thinking straight. That's why I don't drink. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into today's formation. Thank you all for coming through. I really appreciate it. Always appreciate everyone coming to support me. I need to find out what I was. I thought I had it on the right page a minute ago, but obviously didn't. Du, 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 du. I think might be near it. Just bear with me 2 seconds, ladies and gents. We've got a jam-packed show today. It's gonna be a long one. Just how I want it. I think I've got it to. I think I've gone too far down the page. Hang on. Ain't take long. Must be somewhere near it. Computer, when you don't want it to work, it's working absolutely swimmingly well. Absolutely smooth. Baby's butt. I can't remember seeing my baby's bum so long ago. Smooth as a criminal. Smooth as a baby's butt and smooth as a criminal doesn't really go together, does it? There you go. I do not mean any harm. Never judge a book by its cover. I'm very innocent. Um, where are we? Oh, let's look at sporadic knife one then in my mail pages. Going back to the proc. I went too far up the page. My life. Not far away now, ladies and gentlemen. Sort of hoping I'll find it because I've gone. I think I might well have. Think. There we go. I believe. Right. Before we start, we need to know yourself before you lose yourself. Find yourself by knowing yourself. I mean, everyone's suffering mental health. So before we start, road to recovery. It's after we're coming out of pandemic, coming up to Christmas. You want to start the new year with a New Year's resolution. It's a road to recovery. Before we start, we need to know yourself before you lose yourself. Find yourself by knowing yourself. Only you who are only you know who you are or where you want to be. So recognize your flaws and imperfections. Alcohol, narcotics, maybe social gatherings. You want to inspire, not expire. Narcotics and social gatherings, such as we've got traditional Christmas. It's the people you have in your circle. You need to make that annihilated, don't you? I always say drink your cup of tea with people you want to be inspired by. You have friends that tend to drag you along into their cruel devil's world of mad corruption. You need to opt out because they clearly are not your friends. We need to know yourself before you lose yourself. You need to know yourself before you lose yourself. You have a dream, a passion within professionality, with etiquette, yeah? But you're slacking because of indulgence through corruption. You need to focus and acknowledge your perfections and your flaws. Make this your motive to develop success. Work at it and work with progressive progression. The friends in your circle who are taking you down Route 66, they need to be annihilated. Concentrate on new beginnings. Start by making a day or two mindfulness days and see where you're at and see how big your dreams are, then work for it. Now, when you got this like fuzzy crowd, you're, I don't know, maybe smoking cannabis, alcohol, you got this fuzzy crowd, you got these, you got a dream in there somewhere, but this fuzzy crowd's not letting you get there because you got sin in your head. Sin's not letting you get your target. You're well out of reach. You're thinking, oh, I'm not going to make it, so you just have a drink, you just smoke weed. You're not going to make it because you've got sin in your body. No one wants you. No one's going to want you in any exercise, business. They're not going to want you to be the top within your business. They might keep you on just to keep you in a job. They're not going to want you to run the business because you've got that mental impairment of this alcoholism, and narcotics. They're not going to want you to run the show. You're not going to be the best you can be. I wouldn't trust you run my business if you're under alcohol or cannabis, even if it's twice a week. I don't think our mental impairment ain't stable enough to see what's going on around a job. Same as any other employee. Any other employee is going to think he's not quite cutting what I need. Smoking cannabis, drinking a couple of days a week. He's going to be forgetful of the timesheets, forgetful who's in. People, got to be people counting all the time. Got to be on the ball. Critical thinker on the ball. The employee's not going to take you on. So you really need to think about that. He's concentrate new beginnings. Start by making a day or two mindfulness days and see where you're at. See how big your dreams are, then work for it. Remember, actions speak louder than words. You want to be somebody because of your actions, and it makes you feel that you ain't gonna go nowhere. Lose it now. Don't abuse it. I've had many dreams in my life because I didn't fall through with my own predicament. I failed. I don't want to see you fail, fall, or trip up. Be a champion. Be a professional, or whatever it is you want to be. Be you, and focus with a vision. I mean, I write my own stories because I want people to think, I'm talking sense. I want you to come away and think, actually, I do need to pull myself together. You know, I'm not doing it for the sake of Ace of Spades. I'm just doing it to help others. Anyway, let's get into what we can get into today. The formation today. Road incidents because I care about democracy. Thinking about how to tackle the roads, UK roads. We've got UK politics. We're a long show today, so 13 minutes already, and we're not only just getting into the thick of things. Think first, think safety. Do not enter your car under influence of alcohol or narcotics. Make sure you and passengers wear seat belts adjacent to the car seat and babies have car seat adapters adjacent to the car seat. Check your speed limits, traffic road safety signs, speed cameras. Look out for further road police safety signs and signals. Also check your centre and side mirrors before turning into a safe directional choice before overtaking. Making sure motorbikes ain't also overtaking cyclists. Checking your engine before takeoff for engine oil and your engine coolant tank for water. Check your PSI limits. Make sure you have sufficient tyre air pressure in the tyres. Check your treads at legal limits and your MOT is updated. Just give me, obviously, there's more to checking out your car and that, but then if you stick to them 10 steps, it's giving you probably a bit more on what you're already doing, isn't it? There's a lot more steps to getting in your car and starting a vehicle and that, but I'm just giving you ideas. Think safety, think first. It's not just your life. I mean, I've seen the accidents on on the motorways, A12, A road every day. A lot of these people are in an adequate sense for the sake of loved ones and yourself. I know it's like because I've driven for many years. You don't check these priorities. You get out the door, you think, oh, I've got work, I need to get there. You just go, don't you? You don't think, oh, my air pressure could be low, tyres could be bald. Just get in the car and think, I've got to get work, I want to get out and done with, so I get home and spend with my family. I want to spend the weekend with my family, it's only Monday. You should have one weekend off, you know, think about the weekend again. I know what it's like. You're, made to go to work to pay our bills. Fortunately or unfortunately, this is what I enjoy. So this is me and my job in supporting my loved ones. I've got a lot. I mean, we all have a lot going for our life, but this is my life. Simple. I've been for, we've all had this war brain life. I'm having a bit more of a simpler life. This is my life. Every other radio presenter in the world can sit here and be part of the aristocracy social elite. Why can't I? Why can't I be an etiquette tyranny speaker, such as everyone else that enjoys their job? Let's face it, I've got a equity card now, so there's nothing saying I can't. And I've got it for radio presenting. So I'm on the map for radio presenting already. Anyway, sorry about talking about a load of waffle. We're going into the AA M25 and all the other toll roads, see what where the accidents are, to give you the updates. Congestions. I'm trying to give you a safe journey to work, to your families, wherever you're going to go. And also it gives you a bit of an idea, plan your route before takeoff, doesn't it? I'm up near, too far up. We're going, oh, let's have a little look at Bedford while we're, there we go. We're in Cambridge now, guys. I was in Bedford. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Culture, Fordham Road. It's gas main work and temporary traffic signs. Temporary traffic signals due to gas main work at Fordham Road at the Cherry Tree pub. It's reported on the 20th of October, 1 o'clock. Not that it matters what time, because it's still going to be there. Temporary traffic signals will still be there, and the roadworks are still going to be there. So travelling around, no, it's Cambridge. It's a culture, no, Cambridge, sorry, Fordham Road. Travelling around near Cambridge, think what might be in your way on the way. And look towards Bedford. There's a few incidents in Clacton I want to check out for some of my locals there. I've got a few friends up in Hertfordshire way. I'm going to do Hertfordshire near Bedford. In Bedford, here we go. A600 lane or lanes closed. Construction lane closed due to construction on Caudle Street around A5141. That's reported on the 4th of October. I'm going to go down a bit. Where is my Letchworth? Royston. I'm trying to look for. Ah, here we go. Van Luton. So down a bit should be my friends. In Welland. We've got Welland. Let's have a look at Welland, shall we? Welland Garden City. Woodhall Lane. Road closed due to construction on Woodgreen Lane. Both ways from A1000 Checkers to Green Lane. Hatfield, we've got roadworks by looks of things. A414 lane or lanes closed. Construction on the A414 Orbital Road of A1081 London Colony by London Colony Roundabout. I did bring that out yesterday. We've got another one in London Colony. A414 slow traffic in a construction area on the A414 North Orbital Way between A1M Junction 3 St Albans to Hatfield on a A1081 London Colony by London Colony Roundabout in construction area. There you go, ladies and gents. Give me updates. One in St Albans before I head off to South East. A1081 construction on an A1081 London near London Road Station. Just gonna get down where to where I need to be. I'm gonna do some for the Essex workers heading out of Essex. To the edge of Essex, we have Brentwood. Doddinghurst Road water main temporary traffic signals due to water main on Doddinghurst Road at the Brentwood Centre, I'm believing, 23rd of October, I think that says. Down to Basildon, B1464 water main temporary traffic signals due to water main on B1464 London Road at Gun Pub. Southend, A127 lane or lanes closed due to gas main. One lane is closed due to gas main work. Victoria Avenue near Southend Victoria Station. Right, ladies and Johnsons, ladies and gents, here we go. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate you guys being here. Giving you the road updates. Think safety, think first. So happy you guys tune. You guys on Castbox, I am live on YouTube as well. If you want to subscribe to the show, you can get notifications when we go live on there, as well as on our Castbox. So I don't want to lose you from Castbox, because if you think safety and you think first and you're in your car and listen digital radio through Castbox is the best way to go. Through Castbox, so you keep you on the road. Anyway, this is what people are kicking up stink about at the moment. The critics on their Facebook everywhere. School meals, I remember going to bed with hunger pains. A lot of people moaning about the politicians not preparing money for school meals. Understandable, because they do chuck a lot of money in a lot of things. But look at who started the petition. Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford earns about 20 grand a week. He earns 20 grand a week, about £200,000 a match. No, 20 grand a day. Why can't he go? He could probably pay for a whole of Essex with 20 grand for the month. All the kids in Essex. No, but the amount of money they get, why can they suffer? All these professional football players, these rock stars, these professional boxers, why can't they all suffer like a week's pay or even a month's pay to help out these families? They're so rich. Why should it's down to the politicians to go, okay, we're gonna put in 800 million to feed all the families in the UK. These politicians are 80 grand a year. Surely this government is powerful enough to divide the money off these rich people. Surely, I mean, all the football matches, all government, isn't it? All the boxing's all politics. It's all politics. Amount of seats distributed, how many heads coming in. It's all politics. This is why I don't support the sporting industry. I participated, I enjoyed it, because it's ridiculous how much money they earn, how much money they can turn over in a venue, but they don't want to put it back into society with things like this. Things, children in need. I find it hard to remember even having a cooked meal at home, says Danielle, who relied on free school meals as a child. I'd eat spaghetti hoops cold as for tip. We'd all have a slice of white bread because it was 13p from discount supermarket Kiwi Save. Then put margarine on it and put it under the grill. Me and my sister thought we were going to open a cafe. Danielle, 39, is now a successful senior manager for a charity living in London, but grown up, she lived with food insecurity. She has told the BBC how, as a child, she has often had to resort to shoplifting or bin diving for essential food at weekends or during the school holidays. Once, when she was young as 10, food poverty in Britain isn't really spoken about because of shame, she says. When the holidays hit, hunger doesn't go. Danielle's calling on the government to support young people, as the row about the decision not to extend free school meals for children in England into half-term holiday countries. The government extended free school meals to be eligible children during the Easter holidays early this year, and after a campaign by footballer Marcus Rashford did the same for the summer holiday. Ministers say that providing help through councils is the best way to reach those that need it. I was brought up in a household where we didn't have food at the time, Danielle recalls. Her mother was ill and couldn't work. A single parent household. Danielle says she and her two siblings were often left to tend for themselves. In addition to caring for their mum, some days it was hard for her to get out of bed. She really put in a lot of effort, but she couldn't cope. I don't hold it against her because she's tired, Danielle stresses. They would usually receive child benefits payments on Monday, so we could often take a day off and have a lot of food then, says Danielle. But nothing afterwards. Packets of jelly were common because they cost 20p and would go quite far, or instant custard, things to fill you up. At the weekend, meals would frequently consist of dry cereal and dry bread. I remember going to bed with hunger pains and coming home to an empty fridge, she says. You learn to shut off the signals from your brain that tell you're hungry. I remember those days. You know, mum was my main carer. Pops used to go to work, come home. Oh, it's the start of the month. All the money's got, mid-month, when the money's gone, wait for the end of the month to come and get paid again. Sitting there starving, eating your fingernails. They've gone, you start eating your toenails. Now I'm joking. Eating for survival, but I do remember them days, putting a bit of bread over the fire, the furnace, burning my toes over the furnace, putting them straight on the flames. I'm hungry. I'll eat it quick. Eating for survival. This habit stayed with her in her adult life. I didn't realise I'm hungry, and then it gets 4 p.m. and I realise I've been dissociating and suddenly have to eat. As a young adult, I didn't know how to cook, so would just eat for survival, something to take away the hunger. Danielle could sometimes eat at friends' houses or at Sunday school as a child, but her main source of hot meals was school. She explains that her mum was on benefits that qualified her siblings for free school meals, which were limited to certain children. I have really strong memories of them, she says. Apple crumble and custard, her favourite pudding on this day, baked potatoes, roast dinners. I also found memories of sitting at the table with all my friends. Beyond that, she was forced to find out other ways of sourcing food when they had run out of essentials and she was starving. This included bin diving for surplus food behind supermarkets, paying 10p for scraps in the local fish and chip shops, and shoplifting. It wasn't frequent, but when we are desperate, she says, Danielle was caught shoplifting a jar of Marmite aged 10, carefully selected from the shelves because it could last weeks, by only spreading a small bit of each piece of bread. And while on an early occasion she was only told not to return to the shop, a 14-year-old, she had her fingertips taken, was placed in a police cell and later cautioned for shoplifting. I think it was for stealing jelly. Danielle says the incident came up for the record when she was applying for a job in later life, leaving her devastated. Have you ever been that hungry that you done stealing as a child? I mean, I was brought up to know a lot of different. I was brought up to know a lot of different. If I got caught stealing any kind, I'd have got absolutely belted. One thing I can strategically say, I was almost involved in something and I got absolutely belted for it as a child. A lot of people won't admit what we've done as a youngster. But I'm talking like about the same sort of age, 13, almost got in something a bit stupid. I got absolutely belted and never, ever thought about stealing again. nearly got involved. I didn't go that day when something could have happened badly. I won't mention for you know all them years ago. Doesn't It's not really relevant now, but I didn't get involved. I could have got involved. I was 13. My friend got arrested. I didn't. I didn't go, but I was almost contemplating it. But I got belted, absolutely belted, and I'm glad I did because I learned my lesson. Not, I never hate thieves. I always have a hate. Even as a young child, some nicked my mobile phone or my pens and my pencil and my pen case. Used to really wind me up, and then I almost thought of doing a bit of a shopping spree, robbing spree. If you know what I mean. But I didn't do it. But I got the biggest belting of my life. I feel like I'm quite a moral person for it to tarnish your career when all you are trying to do is eat, she says. I'm not proud of it, and I would never do it now, but it was survival. I mean, the days of being smacked as a kid, it's all changed now, domestic violence. But I tell you what, I've never, ever crossed my mind ever since that day. Didn't really cross my mind much as a young kid, but you get in different circles, different sociological change, different environments. You get back around a few silly people through sporting industry. You can go down the wrong route. Route 66, as I like to call it. Supporting young people. As soon as Daniel was old enough to get various part-time jobs, she stopped shoplifting and went on to get three A grade A levels and a first class degree at university. But she says that she could have gone either way. I did have a supported education, and that enabled me to continue down the wrong path, she says. Because of the support that we have in the UK, it allows people to go from poverty into middle class and be able to earn a living. Unless we support young people, give them opportunities like food and education, then that wouldn't be able to happen. There's a lot of opportunities out there, but like you say, if you can't get your head above water with support, with food, your aspirations in despair. If you want to be a professional sports player, for instance, if you haven't got the energy sources, you're not going to make it. I was very good at football, but there's days where I was absolutely starving. I'd look forward to half time to get my orange juice, get the orange peel at half time because I didn't eat my breakfast. But you're running out of energy because you need that orange at half time. Until that lasts about 15 minutes in your system when you get a bit of energy, believe me. Then you want your roast dinner for after the game. Responding to the row over free school meals, Danielle argues that those who are making decisions are doing so from a place of privilege, without an understanding of what it is like to be a child and to be hungry. She also stresses that there are all sorts of family dynamics that can lead to financial difficulty, including debts, mental health issues, and addiction. It can happen to anyone, she says. Inspiration. As Danielle hit her 30s, she developed a new relationship with food, teaching herself to cook from scratch and eventually batch cooking for the week. One of my kids, one of my friends set up a supper club and said I was their inspiration, she said. I thought it was funny going from no food to all my friends saying I was such an amazing cook. Well, that's quite touching story because it brings back, we all grow up, don't we? We all have troubles. Our families have troubles with bills. It's like a vicious circle. It's a vicious circle for all of our parents when our kids grow up and start talking like I do. But we all become adults, and that unfortunately happens, doesn't it? It's a circle. We understand our parents going for bills, and our kids understand when their parents to their kids. Your parents are having had their new house. You've been there for first child growing up. They're struggling with their bills, and not you should be panic. It's panic, isn't it? In a relationship, then all of a sudden they've got to change their relationship because they're in fighting for family to survive now. One of them can only work. It's not easy. Tanker stowaways hijacking ends after Special Forces storm ship. 7 people were detained with military forces stormed the tanker suspected to have been hijacked off the Isle of Wight. Wow. 16 members of the Special Boat Service (SBS) ended their 10-hour standoff, which started when stowaways on board of the Liberian registered nave and the Ramida reportedly become violent. The stowaways, believed to be Nigerians seeking UK asylum, were handed over to Hampshire police on Sunday night. Wow. 22 crew members were found safe. BBC Defence correspondent Jonathan Bill said British forces descended onto the vessel by rope from our Royal Navy helicopters after nightfall. Pretty sure I've seen that ship when I was there. I was only there. You remember I was only there a week ago. Seven stowaways believed to be Nigerian asylum seekers in the UK were detained and handed over to the Hampshire police, he said. The Ministry of Defence called the incident a suspected hijacking and said the Defence Secretary Ben Wallace and Home Secretary Priti Patel authorised the operation in response to police requests. I'll tell you if it's near I was when I get to the map. It looks like it because obviously Mr. Wallace said, in dark sides and worsening weather, we should all be grateful for our brave personnel. People are safe tonight thanks to their efforts. Mr. Patel tweeted as she was thankful for the quick, decisive action over the police and armed forces who were able to bring the situation under control, guaranteeing the safety of all those on board. That might well have been near where I was. I've got a picture on my Facebook. You can see that same looking ship right off where I was. The Nave and Ramedia. Mr. Bill said individuals were detained after they were met with an overwhelming force. He said along with the SBS squad from Pole in Dorset, a team of Royal Navy drivers were deployed in one of Royal Marine helicopters in case a vessel has been minded, but it had not. I'll tell you what, also in Portsmouth, they got a lot of Royal Navy base there. We see a hovercraft go across the water. At first, at every time I've seen one in action go across the water, while I was on the Portsmouth ferry going over to the Isle of Wight. It's absolutely phenomenal. My granddad was an amphibious driver. Them hovercrafts almost the same thing, aren't they? My granddad was an amphibious driver in the World War II era, 45, but a bit before that as well. The 748-foot long, 228 ships is known to have left Lagos in Nigeria on the 5th of October and was heading to Fort Oil Refinery near Southampton. As it approached its destination just east of the Isle of Wight on Sunday morning, it was reported that seven stowaways on board had become violent. Lawyers for the vessel owners, Greek shipping companies, Navios, said the crew had been aware of the stowaways on board at the time. Concerns over the crew's welfare were raised at 10:04 GMT when the vessel was 6 miles off Bembridge, police said. 22 crew members were locked in the ship's citadel and are safe. A 3-mile exclusion zone was not put in place around the vessel. Tobias Elwood, chairman of the Commons Defence Committee, said the boarding of the tanker was a good outcome. He said 7 stowaways on board taking over a ship or causing a ship not to be in full command would have triggered a multi-agency alarm, and then well-rehearsed classified protocols were then put into action. Hampshire police said after the suspects were detained that all 22 crew members of the tanker were safe. The police are investigating the incident and we have a number of inquiries to currently establish to the full circumstances. The force said in a statement late on Sunday. According to the maritime tracking website, the Nave Amarada reaching port in Southampton early in the morning. I mean, that's where Southampton's, like I said, all the Navy bases around that area. In December 2018, four stowaways were detained after they ran amok on a container ship in the Thames estuary. The men from Nigeria and Libya waved metal poles and threw faces and urine after being found hiding on their Grenade Tema. What were they thinking? What were they thinking? Taking a ship. Taking a ship. Trying to take over a ship. What was they thinking? What were they thinking? Trying to. Was they watching one of them, one of those films? Let's try and take over a ship. It's ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. I'll give you the weather updates, what we're looking forward to in the weeks to come. Well, let's put it this way. I've sort of seen, and it's not something you're really looking forward to, unless you like indoor summer. Right, UK's forecast for the next 5 days. Showery today, rain moving eastward on Tuesday. So I'm just going to, rather than give you each continent, I'll give you a summary of the whole of the UK. A windy and showery day across the UK, with most places seeing showers. Heavy at times, showers may also emerge into longer spells of rain in the north and west, some west times. Some sunny spells between the showers too. We're looking at around 12 degrees. Evening showers gradually easing, leaving a chilly night and clear spells. Cloudy conditions and rain then reaching Northern Ireland, Wales and southwest England by end of the night. There's no point giving me specific weather in each constituency because you're going to check anyway. Idea rather than boring your tears in, like I go in Cardiff, we've got North Cardiff, East Cardiff, but you go through East Town or whatever. It's going to bore the life out of you, so I'm not going to do that. Tuesday, early rain in Northern Ireland, Wales, and southwest of England, spreading eastwards and becoming confined to Scotland and East England by dusk. Showers following to the south and west. There you go. That's a 3 day pull out for weather. So you know what you're looking forward to. Not a lot. We've predicted rain pretty much all week. Temperatures are going dropping slightly as the clocks have gone forward or back. Can Starmer solve Labour's Scottish problem? I mean, Starmer come in, didn't he? He took Corbyn's job. I thought he might have tackled the absolute xenophobia, the fascism. Um, as you know, no, no president, no prime minister has done it yet. You can't change people, unfortunately. Say you got, I was conservative, got over, I don't know, 200 ministers or over 100 ministers. How can you get all them to not? They drink. Some of them drink in Parliament for starters. How can you make them all? I mean, look at Labour's minister the other day called someone out of the Conservative Party a twat in Parliament. Absolute astonishing behaviour at that level. I think they're allowed to drink before they go on stage to do their talk, aren't they? I believe. So I've heard. Can Starmer solve Labour's Scottish problem? If UK can't win back the support in Scotland, what does it mean for the future of the UK? It might sound strange, but there is real concern in the Conservative government about Labour's lack of support in Scotland. It has plummeted in the past decade and in recent months has fallen well below 20% in many polls. I know they've got a lot involvement in Wales, Labour. Behind closed doors, that's causing worry in Whitehall. Senior Tories considering how to prevent another independence referendum. Think Labour winning back at least some of its base in Scotland will be the key, and believe there is a little sign of that happening. Since the independence referendum in 2014, Labour has been stuck in something of an identity crisis. Obviously, I'd like Labour to pick up a little bit, but yeah, not take over our majority. Obviously, that's me, isn't it? I'm conservative, but it'd be good if they can pick up from where Corbyn left it off. It wasn't too pretty, was it? As he left in a bit of a misshape in Labour Party. Traditional Labour family. The constituent has continued to be the defining issue in Scottish politics, but Labour has spent a lot of time at political capital figuring out exactly where it stands on the prospect of another referendum. Some wanted to go full unionist, arguing an referendum shouldn't happen, full stop. They believe they are most likely to win anti-independence voter support in the immediate term. Others believe if the SNP win a majority, it will be a democratic mandate and should be allowed to hold another vote. They believe they can win back traditional Labour voters who support, or at least tempted by independence by making that clear. Sir Keir Starmer was confronted on his very issue on Friday when he hosted a Zoom call with the Scottish voters. Luke, who told Labour leader he was found a traditional Labour family but now supported the SNP, asked why the party wouldn't back another referendum to win trust back. Sir Keir Starmer acknowledged polls look bad on the Union and there should be proper discussion about more powers for Scotland, short of independence, but he wants to talk about other things and for obvious reasons. When it comes to the constitution in Scotland, many in the Labour Party would acknowledge they have simply been squeezed. They would never be more pro-independence than the SNP, and will never be more unionist than Scottish Tories. It's an issue that has left many scratching their hands for some time. Senior figures admit they simply won't do well in elections while independence dominates. SNP deal. Some have even pondered only half jokingly that another referendum would be for Scottish Labour because people would move on from discussing whether there should be one. So what does the party do before the next Scottish Parliament elections in May and beyond? Labour leaders accept a poll suggesting increasing for support for independence, but believe it's not the main priority for many people. Instead, they want to focus on issues like coronavirus, the economy and public services. The calculation is what that it is possible to move the debate on, and in the midst of a pandemic, people are prepared to listen. While Jeremy Corbyn was Labour leader, some of his closer allies argued Scotland should be denied after the referendum if that's what it voted for through the SNP. Ahead of last year's general election, that was seen in context of a possible confidence and a supply deal to make Mr Corbyn Prime Minister. That never happened, and both sides denied any formal deal would ever be done, but SNP's Westminster leader Ian Blackford was in touch with Mr Corbyn's Chief of Staff, Seamus Milne, on election day about the prospect substantive talks in the event of a hung parliament. Frustration with leadership. Mr Corbyn's critics after accused him of being equivocal of independence, saying, for example, he wouldn't allow a referendum in the early years of a Labour government, but not ruling it out beyond that. He sometimes struggled to explain that position. Oh yeah, I never did understand why I kept going referendum with this Brexit thing. I kept doing done my brain. I just wanted to get done and over. Obviously, being a conservative, that's the way I wanted it. I wanted to go with Theresa May's Brexit. Mr Corbyn allies hoped they could change the debate away from independence if they won power. His critics fear he would sell out the Union for power. In the end, Labour lost all but one seat in Scotland. The Unionist wing of the Scottish Labour Party was hopeful Sarah would be more on message. A petition was worked out for a Hollywood election. A firm no to another independence referendum. The leadership in Scotland and London signed up. I will say something about Corbyn in a minute because I did follow a bit of his legacy. He was MP of North London in 1983, postmodernism era when I was born, so I know that. But then, in a series of interviews around Labour's virtual party conference, Sir Keir failed to rule out another referendum in the future. That left some of the party frustrated that the mistakes of the previous leadership were being repeated. Familiar problem, but it also highlights a problem that isn't going to away before May. Labour doesn't want independence, but neither does it want to be seen anti-democratic. Others fear the horse has already bolted. One figure who played a central role in the No campaign in the independence referendum and the Scottish Labour said, ruefully, it's far too late. We need to have that position 3 years ago. It all leaves Labour facing a familiar problem in the next few months. Can it persuade voters in Scotland to move beyond independence in an election set to be dominated by exactly that? It's the strategy the party is banking on, but few would bet the house on being successful. That could have a significant impact on independence debate because senior Conservatives are acknowledging there are some there are some Scots who simply never vote for them. If they voted Labour, it couldn't help maintain a unionist bloc and perhaps prevent an SNP majority in May. If there was another referendum, winning over the people who lean to the left will be key. If Labour is stuck in a constitutional no man's land, they believe that becomes harder. So, I'm not totally, obviously, I'm a bit biased because but I do see all the sides of all the party politics. You know, I'm not been. It's not like I've been in their game for 5 minutes. See, a lot of these critics, they're just one track mind because of their ancestors or their parents, their following parents. I've been in the game for some time. When I done media in 1995, and even right up to that, with being around my granddads and that growing up, I knew a bit of party politics back then. Just getting more and more into it as I grow with wisdom. Obviously, I know the difference between tabloid and broadsheet. Studying media studies in 1995, so I've always had a good eye for detail. But now, understanding more, even when it comes to criminal law, sometimes I like to bring a bit of criminal law, as you know, sporadic knife crime, because I've got quite clued up in criminal law. I write a lot of notes. Sentence you get for arson, I think it's about 8 years. Sentence you get for malicious with intent, life. I look at all these things. Look at arson, robbery, rape, not for my benefit, but for other people's knowledge. To think I don't want to do that. I don't want to get that many years in prison. I'm be the best me I can be. That's why I do these talk shows. Know yourself before you become yourself, eh? Things like that. All my little memos I bring together to society, try and make you better yourself, not just you. Everyone that maybe will pass on to your younger generation. Still got a little bit more to go, ladies and gentlemen. We're sponsored by O2 Network Fiber Optic. That's why my laptop's on while I'm on YouTube. For mobile phones, O2 device. I've got network wherever I go. Always top signal. O2 Arena. What happens to the O2 Arena? Everything happens at O2 Arena. You can win free tickets to O2 and other days out. I said this before. Got all the latest gadgets. Same as most networks, I believe. But they've got some good deals. If you speak to an O2 guru, got some really good deals. Won't tell you too many tricks of the trade, but I know to get a cheap iPad. You need to get a mobile phone device first. Pay a one-off payment, get an iPad. A cheap payment, you get to keep it as well. Anyway, a little bit devastated, but I'm one of those people who look at someone and think butter couldn't melt because not because she's a beautiful politician, because of her ethnicity, and I can I've seen before them sort of people get a lot of stick. Pretty Patel, she's in the headlines, but like you say, it doesn't matter what ethnicity you are, if you're Christian, whatever. If it's Boris Johnson, he's done something bad, he's got to apologise. Same as everyone else, but I thought, I just felt I don't with Pretty Patel because she's got that cheeky grin. You think, just let her off. Just let her off. She ain't nothing bad. I like Pretty Patel. She's, she gets attacked a lot in the comments. I know she's mad. I'm not when I say like her, I'm not going to try and hijack her off my husband. Not that wanker. I'm just saying we always, you have a. I feel embarrassed now, but you have that singer that you think not have a crush, but you think, oh, she's a good-looking woman. Gives you that warm sensation, doesn't it? If you know what I mean? When they speak, you think, she's a good woman. You wouldn't leave your wife for her, though, would you? But you still have that on your mind. You wouldn't want her to leave her husband either. Anyway, moving on. Boris Johnson, Priti Patel should apologise for lawyer attacks. More than 100 former judges and legal professionals have signed a letter accusing Boris Johnson and Priti Patel of hostility towards lawyers representing migrants seeking asylum. In a letter to The Guardian, they claimed the PM and Home Secretary endanger lawyers' safety with their comments and underlined the rule of law. The signatories called for them to behave honourably and apologise. Number 10 said lawyers were not immune from criticism. In August, the Home Office removed a video posted on social media accusing lawyers representing migrants of being activists. The Law Society, which represents solicitors in England and Wales, branded the video misleading and dangerous. Earlier this month, at a Conservative Party conference, Ms Patel referred to do-gooders and lefty lawyers in a speech on what she called broken asylum system. Her comments come after it emerged that the UK considered sending asylum seekers to an island in the Atlantic. Ms Patel has promised to introduce legislation next year for the biggest overhaul of the system in decades, and said those opposed to her plans were defending the indefensible. Mr Johnson went on to say he would stop the whole criminal justice system being hamstrung by the lefty human rights lawyers. Among those signed the letter were the former Justice of the UK Supreme Court, Lord Collins, Dyson and Walker, retired appeal court judges, former High Court judges and sources of the QCs and law professors, plus the directors of Liberty and Justice. The letter stated, "We are all deeply concerned at recent attacks made by the Home Secretary and echoed by the Prime Minister on lawyers seeking to hold the government to law. Self-attacks endanger not only the personal safety of lawyers and other working for the justice system, as has recently been vividly seen, undermine the rule of law, which ministers and lawyers alike are duty bound to uphold. We invite both the Home Secretary and the Prime Minister to behave honourably by apologising for their display of hostility and to refrain from such attacks in the future." One of those to sign the letter, former Director of the Public Prosecution Lords, Ken MacDonald, said lawyers were being cruelly and dangerously vilified. Now, number 10 spokesperson said that while lawyers played an important role in upholding the law, they are, however, not immune for criticism. The spokesperson said the government is clear that any form of violence is unacceptable. Well, some sense, yeah, but when they make the wrong decision about things, they need it. Everyone needs criticism for making the wrong decision at the end of the day. Judge Hodges, family court. Didn't prompt me with a protocol. Didn't prompt me with a protocol. He said I had a hearing on I can't remember when it is now. I've had two hearings. One, the judge didn't prompt me with the protocol of the day. Said I had a call meeting on such and such date. Let me just make a day up. Say August. No, September. September the 18th, roughly, something like that. He said I'd a court hearing for family court on the 18th. Didn't tell me, didn't prompt me, give me the protocol, didn't prompt me that I needed an application to take the like a Zoom thing. It wasn't Zoom, it was BT Meet Me. I found out late next hearing. He didn't prompt me that I needed that. He goes, "I'll try to phone you, Mr. Johnson, an email. I couldn't get through. My phone was on. Why didn't the call come through? Oh, you needed BT Meet Me. Well, you're supposed to tell me before you ring me, then, aren't you? Otherwise, I'm not going to call. Let's be serious. He's supposed to send me all the protocol for an email. How is any defendant or you know victim, whatever, anyone going to court, how are they going to know unless you get an email or sent in the court letter? It was not sent in the court letter. So yeah, they do deserve criticism when they're making false. They're trying to set up a blooming court and then they're making false allegations already before they even start. Anyway, ladies and gents, as proclamation news and gatherance, appreciate all your time spent coming in, supporting the show. Hopefully, we can bring people in to call in. I've got landline. I don't know why I don't get not page go, just home phone plugged in so you can call in. I want a proper business phone so I can have it on loudspeaker. You can have your voice coming back through. I've got always got a class box on. I usually I've got 14 listeners. That, as you can see, that 14 listeners, and I've got one on here. So I'm sure I do get a few phone calls coming through on class box every now and then on people to intervene with a show and talk about your party politics. What can you do? What can you do for the community? What can you do for your community? I'll try and make petitions. I'm trying to get it LGBT, but that's sort of coming through itself at the moment. I've got 5 signatures on my petition now. Slowly but surely getting there. Some of these petitions have got like absolute hundreds and thousands, but when you start paying money in a bit like anything, you start paying money into petition, you're paying for advertisement, so we get more signatures, gets more publicised, more people start signing it. So a lot of my friends I thought might start signing, but a lot of them are just, oh, I can't bother to press but I know it's Justin, so just be arrogant, just ignore it. It's magnificent. A good reason. A lot of people don't think gays should get married in the church because it's just traditional. But it's not. Think about equalities, you know. Think about everyone being fascist in the world. The worst people off in the world. The other people ain't accepted, you know. There's so many people ain't accepted. The people with disability ain't accepted. You're not accepted in your classroom because you got one pink shoe on and one blue one. Or you're not accepted because you got big ears, yellow teeth, you pick your nose. Think about qualities. I know it's not nice for if you've got kids and you don't want them, you want them to just come up there naturally, in way. But it could be one that they turn out your kid could be homosexual. Still got to love your kid in you at the end of the day. That's how I see it. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you all so much listening. Really appreciate it. God bless. Take care. One love. Hey, Gazzy, hope you enjoying the show. Who's here? So anyone want to call in?